What's up, everybody? Mike Ferrasi coming to you today because I was inspired. I was inspired by a LinkedIn post. That's why I wanted to make this video. Topic of conversation today is branding and what logos have to do with it. Today's topic was inspired by a LinkedIn post that I saw by a gentleman by the name of Jim Bogos. Jim, I apologize in advance for probably butchering your name. But regardless, Jim was asking for feedback on his Difference Makers podcast logo. Post is very simple. Help me please, which one do you like? Difference Makers podcast. Because I'm a fan of community involvement, I piped in and responded. If the Difference Makers is only a podcast, the one on the left. If Difference Makers has multiple arms, one of which is a podcast, then the one on the right. I just thought the one on the left was a little more cohesive, as podcast was a part of the actual logo, and the one on the right, podcast, was more of a kind of an afterthought or a label that was slapped onto the Difference Makers logo, which would be fine if there was also a Difference Makers vlog and a Difference Makers blog and a Difference Makers. You get the point. If there's lots of Difference Makers things, then Difference Makers should be the main logo. But then I got to thinking, why does the logo matter? It's a podcast. People are going to come listen to the podcast for the content, not for the logo. So when it comes to your marketing, your branding, whether you're corporate branding, personal branding, whatever it is, how much do you agonize over the logo? Is it important? Sure. But who is it really important to? When I was looking at options for my logo, I mean, let's be honest, I don't have a big department that creates this stuff for me. I do it myself. And when I'm agonizing over the little choices, I have to realize that because I'm putting my name to this logo, it's a big deal. But to everybody else, they couldn't care less. The logo is not what's important. The content is important. You could have a grade schooler draw you something out of crayon that looks like a big old turd. But if when your target market sees that big old turd on a piece of notebook paper, they correlate that to quality content or value or reliability or knowing that they can count on your company to do great, whatever it is that you do great, then it doesn't matter. The logo needs to be recognizable, but it only needs to be recognizable because people are going to relate that logo to what you do best. And as long as you're providing value and you're providing quality content or services or whatever it is that you're providing, the logo is kind of an afterthought. It represents you and it's important, but it might not mean to others as much as you think. Now there's another strategy here, another strategy at play. See, Jim, he just might be a genius. Jim might be a marketing ninja. Jim, if you are, let us know, because not many people realize this. But our little pea brains that we have built into these human bodies, they're hardwired in certain ways. And one of those ways that our brains are hardwired is that we like someone better if, get this, if we do a favor for them. Yeah, you'd think it's the other way around. If you want to get somebody to like you more, you'd think if you do them a favor, then that'll handle it, right? They'll like you more because you did them a favor and made them happy. It actually works the opposite way. If someone does you a favor, then subconsciously they know that they would never do a favor for somebody they didn't like. And since they did you a favor, they must like you. So Jim, reaching out on LinkedIn, help me please. Do me a favor. Now I like you more. Yo. What's up? Happy weekend almost indeed. Sorry about that. You know how it is. Never not available. Anyways, where was I? That's right. Jim Bogos, butchered name, being a marketing ninja. See, I don't think he was just asking for help with his logo. Sure, those are valuable opinions. You want to know what people think. You want to know if something's hitting a certain way. You want that feedback. But with a post like, help me please, which one do you like? You're asking for a favor without asking for a favor. So every single person, 25 of them so far, that has replied to this has done Jim a favor. So subconsciously, they now like him better than they did before. Additionally, they're doing him a favor by giving opinions on a logo. A logo for a podcast. The Difference Makers podcast, specifically. I didn't know the Difference Makers podcast existed before today. I find it hard to believe any of these other people knew the Difference Makers podcast existed before today. So not only did I do you a favor, Jim, meaning that I like you more now, I've also been exposed to your Difference Makers podcast, the existence of it, twice, because I looked at 2 different logos. Am I going to check out that podcast? Is it good? I don't know, but it's a podcast for difference makers. Are you a difference maker? I bet a lot of people like to think so. Jim, your post just made me do you a favor while also being exposed to your podcast that I didn't know about before. That, sir, is a marketing masterclass. Now, I'm not sure if you knew that, and I'm not sure if anybody else picked up on it, but I see what you did there. And a lot of us, I think maybe we should be doing the same. Jim Bogos and the Difference Makers podcast, thank you for inspiring today's video. I'm going to go check that podcast out, and you guys should too. We'll talk to you next time.